Give a little bit of general information, some points that I wanted to share with all of you, and then explain the process in which we are going to treat this particular item. The exclusive negotiation agreement is an agreement whereby the district commits to negotiating on the terms of a ground lease exclusively with Republic Urban Properties for a period of 12 months. The land referenced as part of this agreement was designated surplus by the Board of Trustees in 2004. In an open process that was inclusive of all rules regarding such designation. The surplus designation indicated that the property was not needed in order for the college to fulfill its educational mission. In the years since the original designation, the educational and facilities master plans have affirmed that the land is not necessary for fulfillment of the educational mission. Thank you. Our district serves a large percentage of students who enter college and they prepare for college-level coursework. Lease revenues from this project will allow us to develop and expand the kinds of programs designed to ensure that these students are able to complete college-level work, earn degrees and certificates, transfer to universities, and enter the workforce well-trained and well-prepared. The Board of Trustees has committed that funds generated by this agreement will be used for programs and initiatives that enhance student support and success. These opportunities that we want to bring forward with this particular opportunity creates economic equity in our community, helping students and their families break free from the bonds of the generational poverty. For this item, Chancellor Budd and her team will be making a presentation. We are going to entertain comments after the presentation. The presentation will also include a representative from Republic. During public comments, so we will have then the presentation, and then during public comments, which will be after the presentation, we will be gathering speaker sheets, which are these yellow cards. So make sure that you complete a yellow card. And so far, the number of cards that we have, it takes us to the allotted time for this item, which is approximately 30 minutes. If we end up with a few more cards, we may end up having to adjust the time or asking the trustees for additional time on this item. Some thoughts about public comments that I would like to share in the spirit of making sure that we have a meeting that is positive and that it's a win-win for all of us. During public comments, members of the public are encouraged to write, to complete the written request, the yellow sheets. Members of the public may speak once recognized by the president of the board. Each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes. The board recognizes the need to encourage public participation and also the need to preserve order and the proper functioning of the meeting. Community members addressing the board shall therefore conduct themselves at all times in a manner appropriate to the setting. Those wishing to speak to the board are subject to the following. The president of the board may rule members of the public out of order if their remarks do not pertain to matters that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board and if their remarks are unduly repetitive. So with that, I would like to request for Chancellor Budd, her team, and members of Republic to make the presentation. So,
Madam President,
yes.
if I may, can we, since this is an action item, before any presentation, discussion, or anything between that, can I invoke the Robert's rules to have a motion first before we
Yes, please.
engage in that?
So your motion?
Do I have a permission to do that?
Yes.
I move that we approve the E&A agreement with the public urban properties.
Second.
Second, so we have a motion and a second, and with that, then we'll be open to the presentation and followed by public comments. Chancellor Budd.
Thank you, President Cruz, and I want to thank the entire Board of Trustees for their forward thinking of looking at this surplus land to ensure that it's used for its best use to serve our students. And as we just saw in the video with our San Jose Promise, this is exactly an example of something that entering into a land lease could help with additional funding for student support. And this has been a long road over the past with really looking at different possibilities. But always in the forefront is our values of opportunity, equity, and social justice. And I want to thank Vice Chancellor Smith for all of his work over the years on this project, and I'd like to turn it over to Vice Chancellor Smith to share a little history before we hear from our presenters. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Chancellor. And I too want to acknowledge the trustees for, we've been on this journey a long time, and the communications, the various public opportunities for input, difficult as they can be, I have a lot of respect, and I appreciate that on behalf of the community. So a little bit repetitive from President Cruz's comments, but this action is a singular action as one of the steps in a long journey to approve something called an E&A, or exclusive negotiation agreement with Republic Urban Properties, which is basically a 12-month window for some work to be conducted, and we'll hear about that work in a moment. By way of background, in 2004, as Trustee Cruz mentioned, the board declared the 27 acres property adjacent to EDC as surplus. So 15 years ago, 14 years ago, declared as not necessary. That was revalidated in 2015 when the educational master plan folks came through, Cambridge West and that team. Said 130 acres for Evergreen Valley College, we'll get it done. It's a very nice sized college in the spectrum of California community colleges. You're good to go. So it didn't undermine or redirect that original decision. It simply said you're good to go forward with your plans to generate a revenue stream in a long-term land development lease that would provide student equity and student quality enhancement programs. So it's very similar to the lease that we also have on that land at the Yerba Buena, San Felipe interchange. There's a shopping center there. We own that property. People don't know that. That's a land lease, and that generates about $600,000 to us a year. That allows us to get some of the work we need to be done and again, enhance our student programs because it relieves money to do that. So I'll do a little flyover in terms of, well, one comment that I made earlier in a presentation a few years ago. I talked about the land being vacant for 40 years, and if we had earned $1 million or $1.5 million if that full property were developed, to have been developed. It's been vacant. It's been nice land for walking purposes, but it could have yielded 40 or 50 or 60 million dollars, which is real and significant money to our student programs. So one thing you'll hear tonight is about the footprint of the land. It's a 27-acre parcel. Well, multiple parcels within the 27 acres. But the footprint of discussion is really the footprint that's been vacated by the old district office, which was essentially had seen its useful life. Prior to moving downtown, we did an assessment and said, can this building be rehabilitated? Does it make fiscal sense? They said no, get a building that's ready with some modernization and leave this building. South Bay Academy, we left the Joint Powers Agreement a number of years ago. They had a new opportunity to go to new facilities at Gavilan Community College District. They jumped on that, accepted that, and vacated that. So that's a 10 or 12, 13 acre parcel, that footprint, and that's really the footprint we're talking about here. That which has always been a footprint for at least 40 years is the same footprint under this review. So what I'll do is do a really simple flyover before I introduce our speakers of the progression. So 2004, the surplus decided 130 acres adequate to meet our needs. In 2011, we hired land analysts to start to quantify what could be there, what are the values, is it retail, is it assisted living, what kind of modules does this community need, and would best serve the region and the college interest in developing money for our student programs. In 2012, a board subcommittee convened, and we developed and proposed with the support of 3 trustees an RFQ or an RFP, a request for proposals. We put it out on the street. We said we want to develop this land, all or part, and it led to part at this point, and so it's again been a long journey. 2015, the RFP draft, we drafted the proposals, that was completed. You approved in 2014 something called the letter of intent with Republic Urban Properties. So again, we've been on a journey and we continue on a journey. In 2015, the educational master plan folks came through, bottom up, both colleges, as it relates to this, revalidated 130 acres. It's good today, it'll be good tomorrow, it's good in perpetuity, you're fine, so we checked it, and rechecked it. In 2016, many of us were there. I couldn't believe a meeting at the city of San Jose, such a huge city, would take an action at 2:30 in the morning. It did, it approved our general plan amendment, many of us were there. We didn't look so good the next day, but we were there that night. Some of us looked good. On 2017, we've been continuing in negotiations with Republic Urban Properties, done a nice job of leading to the action you're being asked to take tonight. And then this isn't the end. We continue on the journey. This application leads to the rezoning, to the entitlement process that gets us further down the road to achieving our dream, which is the dream to serve our students. And just as an aside, I did many of those phone calls for that bond measure, and many first-generation students, many students that we saw that never conceived that they had the opportunity. And this will open the door to students like we saw tonight that otherwise had no concept that they had a chance to advance themselves with the little initiative. So a lot of good comes from this, but I do feel, as in my role for the organization, that you've done your due diligence, we've checked, we've double-checked, we've validated, and now it's a matter of good quality interaction and continue on the journey. So with that as the backdrop, I'd like to introduce Attorney Jim Eller, who's been with you on the journey for probably 15 years in some component. In fact, helped that year of Born in Land. He was participatory in the West Valley Mission Community College. Revenue generating projects of similar nature. There are multiple in the state, but given the fixed sum that community colleges get, when you have an opportunity like this and you've done your checkoffs, you need to seize it. And we're in the process of seizing it, as difficult as it has seemed at time, and I have a lot of respect for you. So with that, Jim, maybe you can describe what this action is tonight, what the board is being asked to do, and then we'll ask Michael Van Avery, who is the president of Republic Urban Properties, to give a little bit of a description of the road he's been on as the other side of our negotiations, as I hope the ultimate developer of this property and our partner, long-term partner. So Jim up, tell us this story, what we're asking the board to act on tonight, and then we'll get into the project. So, thank you.
Good evening, Madam Chair, and I got to turn. Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the board. Happy New Year. With all of the background now you've received, I think what I will do for you is briefly walk through the basic elements of the exclusive negotiating agreement. You're being asked tonight to consider and approve the exclusive negotiating agreement. The agreement, as you've been told, will provide for a 12-month term in which you will negotiate with Republic Urban Properties for ground lease on the 10 to 13 acre portion of the surplus land that we're considering this evening. The consideration for the land at this point in terms of development involves 30 to 100,000 square feet of medical office space, 100 to 250 bed assisted living facility, potentially a private school, and any other uses which the parties might agree to during the 12-month term. The terms of the relationship are set forth in the E&A. The district and Republic have agreed to exclusively negotiate and only on the 10 to 13 acres of the surplus land. There will be no commitment by either party during that time to actually execute a ground lease. So it must be determined by both parties after the negotiation that the agreement will be acceptable. The exclusive negotiating agreement, or which I'll call the E&A, provides for an exclusivity fee to be paid by Republic in the amount of $455,000. That amount will be paid on a fee schedule and payable in April, August, and November of 2018. The district will, during that, Republic will be responsible for moving forward with obtaining entitlements on the 10 to 13 acres, which means rezoning and environmental entitlements. The Republic will be responsible for leading that effort and making the primary decisions with regard to how to proceed. The district has agreed to reimburse for the cost of obtaining those entitlements and will do so on a 100% basis. Before doing so, however, the cost must be approved in advance by the district, must be in accordance with the Exhibit 4, which is a budget set forth in the agreement, and must then be approved, the documentation of the expenditures must then be approved by the administration before the actual reimbursement will occur. All applications that are submitted by Republic to the city for the entitlement must be approved by the district. The district is considering the possibility of an aquatic center in or near the surplus land. And I mention that because it may become part of the entitlement process, but that's something to be determined as we go forward. The timeline for obtaining the entitlements is set forth in Exhibit 3 of the E&A. That is an estimated timeline, but the hope is that entitlements will be obtained by the end of 2018. Republic shall keep the district informed during the term of the E&A as to the progress it makes. And as we move forward, the district will have an opportunity to provide input. In the event a ground lease is reached, or agreement on a ground lease is reached, there will be certain basic terms that will be contained. To begin with, the terms of the ground lease that were contained in the April 21, 2015 bid by Republic that was approved at that time by this board will be contained in essence in the new ground lease, subject to changes such as the original bid included a much larger project than the one being considered today. Republic will prepay a $1 million amount in prepaid rent as part of the ground lease, and construction is intended to start within 24 months after obtaining the entitlements. If construction, for whatever reason, is not able to be started within that 24-month, Republic has the opportunity to extend that period for an additional 12 months by paying a fee of $150,000 to the district. They can do that again for a second 12-month period by paying an additional $150,000. Republic If a lease again is entered into, Republic would obtain an option for the remaining surplus land. And by remaining surplus land, that term is defined in the E&A, but will include land that's not otherwise being used by the district for a variety of uses, including educational uses or aquatic center or other items such as perhaps district-sponsored housing. Should the lease be entered into and the option be implemented, a Republic would pay a total of $300,000 during the term of that 5-year option. The option would be to allow Republic to attempt to obtain a general plan amendment and zoning, should it choose to do so, for a project of up to 250 residential units. That is completely speculative, would be at the sole expense of Republic, and is something that they've asked for and we've agreed to do. At the end of the day, the E&A will govern the relationship with Republic during the next 12 months. At the end of the day, we may end up with a lease. We hopefully will end up with entitlements for the project. And once the entitlements are obtained, then the actual construction of the project can begin. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, trustees?
Thank you, Jim. Much appreciated.
With that, I'll like to introduce Michael Van Embry, who is the president of Republic Urban Properties, and someone I've gotten to know is a straight up, we're negotiating, we're doing a deal, hard worker, great staff, appreciate our time today.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Michael Van Embry, President and CEO of Republic Family Companies, Republic Urban Properties. As the council mentioned, we have been working on the exclusive rights to negotiate. We have been on the journey, but for context purposes, Republic specializes in public-private partnerships. I'm on year 6 with Very Rapid Transit, project in the city of Embry, a small city there, 22,000 people. We're on year 11, build out of the Valley Transportation Authority in Midtown. And I think the big takeaway is public-private partnerships, require the ultimate form of transparency. And, this is a politically sensitive area of San Jose. I lived there for 10 years. It was a hotbed of growth in the late 80s and 90s. And, as a result of that, there's been a lot of success and a lot of challenges as part of that. But where we really have had the timelines extend is in this particular area of San Jose. It's restricted in terms of and it's restricted to transportation allocations, which essentially governs both commercial and residential development. So our best laid plans was for a full master plan of all 27 acres, and that's how we were selected. I will say that we're beginning to piece together that master plan of all 27 acres, because in reality, that's how something should be developed out here. But again, we're running into the restrictions of the city of San Jose. Example, we did achieve a commercial neighborhood zoning in 2015, as Chancellor Smith mentioned. However, that comes with restrictions as well. Right now, we're faced with about only 100,000 feet of developable commercial square footage. Luckily, you do have a reuse opportunity there, so your former campus actually allows for that in addition too. So you have 100,000 plus the reuse of the land and the police. So we have some to work with, but candidly, San Jose Evergreen area is not a high target area of development with the city of San Jose. That was explained to us time and again by the former planning director, Harry Freitas, and again with our interim director now. So the city of San Jose is still trying to figure out how to implement the remaining aspects of the East Woodhill policy plan. So I'm trying to provide you this background and context that this has taken a long time. And so when we have this master plan and essentially a pre-lease already negotiated, it took some time and money, by the way, to unwind that and get to kind of this point today, which again is, I won't call it a reset, but a continuation of a process. That continuation has led us to invest to date about $700,000, which the good news is that achieved the general plan amendment. which now allows the college the next step in that process to get the planned development zoning and hopefully those PD permits that come along with it, along then with the negotiation for us to start paying groundwork. So, I stand before you here today to say this: public-private partnerships always go longer than they say. If you'd like, I could give you a whole, lecture on that in my office here in downtown San Jose. That said, we're committed to San Jose. We are a San Jose development company, and we do appreciate the patience. I will say this too. We had a little bit of a misstep as well in the last year. We did not engage the community in what is going to be kind of their vision of what this area should look like. That was a condition of our general plan amendment. We went ahead with a zoning, which I would say was kind of like exploratory. It was exploratory so we could find out how much commercial space is actually left. What uses are allowed in the commercial area? Is assisted care something that we can do? There's a lot of restrictions on assisted care now. The city has designs on only job providing kinds of uses. So as an example, if mom is able to move around and can care for herself, that's considered a residential use, not necessarily assisted use. So developers like us have been looking for explanations, and frankly, we've been getting a lot of different answers. So those are other items that deal with that. That said though, we do have a large community meeting planned here in February at the college. At that meeting, it will be about listening to what people think, because maybe there are other uses out, whether in the commercial designation or outside the commercial designation, and that's why the exclusive right to negotiate gives us a little bit of flexibility that maybe there's some option years down the road where, hey, there's an opportunity for student-teacher housing. Hey, there's opportunity for other types of uses that provide more revenue to the college. So, humbly, we stand before you understanding that there are risks. We hope that our investment to date demonstrates our ability to hang in there with you. We're $8 million in the city of Millbrae with area rapid transit. I don't have one meaningful entitlement inside of zoning. It took us about $3 million to get through the Valley Transportation Authority during the recession. So we like public-private partnerships. We like good partners. And we humbly request that you give us this opportunity. And again, appreciate your patience and hard work.
Thank you.
I thank Jim Eller, Michael Embry, and Chancellor Budd and Vice Chancellor Smith for providing all the information today and going through some of the stipulations on the agreement. So at this point in time, I'd like to invite the members of the public to make comments on this item. And so I would like to start with Brenda Serpa. And Brenda, before you start, can you allow me to do something? I believe there was a request to address the board that was within the little stack of papers, and the person that wrote the card didn't really put the item that was actually referenced. So I guess as I went through quickly, I assumed it was H1, but it may not be. And so this is the agenda item is pickleboard courts.
Yeah, I don't think it's appropriate.
Okay, so we don't have to worry about this. Okay, great. Thank you for clarifying. I appreciate it. Thanks for your patience, Brenda. Go ahead. Yes.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. Please vote yes and approve the ENA with Republic Urban Properties. I understand that there will be additional opportunities to provide input into the project as the zoning process unfolds, and I look forward to that as well. Dr. Budd is a person of her word. In April 2016, she said she'd increase transfer rates to the UC system, and she did. The district's UC acceptance rate in 2016-17 was 74%, and West Valley Mission College District's rate of 71%. The African American, Hispanic, Latino UC acceptance rates were respectively 77% and 75%, besting West Valley Mission Community College District 62% and 57% rates. Dr. Budd pushed the dual enrollment program by partnering with the Eastside Alliance Consortium, CPT. Local high schoolers graduate while completing 2 years of transferable coursework. She said she would do it in 2016, and it's happening. Thank you for more items, for providing fiscal responsibility and maintaining a healthy reserve for the Student Support Success Programs and guaranteeing that revenues generated from the now reduced 13-acre surplus land development at EBC will help to support those programs, for following the lead of other successful community college districts across the state that have done the same to ensure a stable revenue source to support those programs. Meanwhile, EBC's remaining 130 acres are plenty for present and future growth. For passing Measure X and giving our students 21st century classrooms and infrastructure and the potential aquatics fitness center at EBC, which would provide new programs for students and allow the community the opportunity to use the facilities. Underprepared for college students are a high percentage of your clients. You're creating programs that allow them to attain college-level skills, tuition-free, debt-free, through partnerships with industry leaders such as Spark Point San Jose, non-credit pathways to college and future careers, which is totally free to all students with no college preparation and focused purely on skills attainment. It allows those students, many not yet residents, a first point of entry into college to perfect critical English and math skills while time lapses. So when they can perform at college level, only then are they charged resident fees when they take 4 credit courses. And the San Jose Promise Scholarship Program, currently 500 students are enrolled in the program that pays 2 years of community college tuition and books, with plans to expand to 1,000 students. So again, I urge you to vote in favor of the proposed exclusive negotiating agreement with Republic Urban Properties that is before you tonight, and I appreciate all of your hard work to persevere through all of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Erba. Next speaker, Benjamin Gonzalez. Benjamin is the Secretary of EBC, ASG.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hello, members of the board. I'd like to appreciate you for giving me the time, and I'd like to urge you to vote yes on the action item, or agenda item H1, because I've been going to Evergreen for 3 years now, and I would say is that if I didn't have the programs and the facilities that I needed to succeed, I would not be standing here before you today as a well-adjusted young adult. I would be, who knows. But I would like to say that it's very, very important for students to have the proper facilities, and this surplus of land, I would not consider surplus. I would consider it to be essential to grow. And I know as stakeholders of education, it is our duty to expand education in all of its facets. And it's amazing that we have 27 acres to grow upon. And I appreciate the president of Urban Properties touching on student housing, because I think that would be benefit, and I'm looking forward to seeing that as well. So thank you for the time. I'd also like to recognize Renaya D. Johnson, the student advisor of student life there at Evergreen. Otherwise, I would not be standing here. Thank you.
Thank you, Benjamin. Our next speaker, Lauren Serpa.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. Thank you for your dedication to student success and continuing to vote in the students' interests. I urge you to vote in favor of the exclusive negotiating agreement with Republic Urban Properties. Thank you for growing a healthy buffer for the inevitable economic recession. Thank you for currently working to develop the now 13-acre surplus land to ensure a steady revenue stream to fund student success programs and guaranteeing the generated revenue supports those programs. Thank you for passing Measure X. I look forward to taking classes at the proposed aquatic center and for EBC students to have access to expanded program offerings. You increased enrollment to EBC during a booming economy, which is unprecedented. You supported your ASG leaders for public transportation and provided the students, your clients, with VTA bus passes. Thank you for the following programs. Silicon Valley Engineering Tech Pathways, whose critical component STEM core provides a foundational year for community college students to accelerate their path to STEM degrees and other high-wage, high-demand occupations. Statway helps students, including those who struggled in math classes, have the opportunity to complete the general ed requirement for a UC and CSU transfer in 2 semesters. TechNest, in collaboration with MIT, helps students learn to code in an 18-week coding course, blending the best of online and in-class learning. EBC Engineering, Advanced Manufacturing and Robotics, and for the first course offerings in a new robotics certificate. The Advanced Manufacturing program partnered with the Next Flex and EBC's Flex Factor dual credit program makes advanced manufacturing available to high school students. Thank you for collaborating with Northeastern University and IDT to create a 3-year master's program in computer science for incoming students to the district who maintain A grades. Northeastern will pay for 1 year. Please continue the amazing work by approving the ENA with Republic Urban Properties. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Irma. The next speaker, Wesley Lee.
Hi, I'm Wesley Lee, and I thank you all for giving me the opportunity to speak here. And I first want to just thank the President, I'm not sure what his name is, but for handing out the turkeys during Thanksgiving holidays. I thought that was a really great thing. And I think the community really appreciates that. I think the altruistic actions really demonstrates the true spirit of community. And it's my hope, that the people in front of me here will have that same sense of community to all students, in EBC. It is also my hope that you will be the advocate for the students, and the decisions that you make tonight and every night will be for the best interests of them. I know that you need a balance between the educational needs and financial stability, but please do not sacrifice the long-term future for the short-term gains. I want to point out that we are in an extended bull market run that's lasted for the past 9 years, and we know that this will not last forever. If we look back to 2001 and then in 2007, we saw significant pullbacks in the market. It is now 2018. Just as a sanity check, can any multi-million-dollar development withstand the inevitable pullbacks? And this could be just around the corner. Further, I want to point out, call your attention to clause, 11.1, paragraph 7C, which appears to allow the developer to exercise the option if they obtain a general plan amendment which allows for 250 rental units. It was clearly stated in the City Council meeting back in December 16 that there would be no residential units. I was very, very clear on that. This clause appears to contradict this council ruling. It also must be noted that the entire NCC designation was opposed by the community and would likely oppose residential units on this property. Thank you.
Thank you, Wesley. Next speaker is Eric Narvinson, Academic Senate President at EDC.
Good evening. You've seen me before, and you've seen me talk about this topic before. I just wanted to speak to 2 things regarding the ENA. And one is on page 173 of your agenda, page 7, which is item 11.1 and then 3 I's. The annual base rent, this is a suggestion for a future lease. $500,000 a year for base rent, plus up to 50% of net operating revenues of the project. That could be troublesome. That means that the district will be in the landlord business. That it will be of an interest to the district to make sure that there's tenancy, that all those places are always full, there's people paying rent. I'm hoping that that doesn't change our policies as a district, where we put energies or money or something into trying to help Republic Urban Properties fill these vacancies and make sure people are paying rent. It's unusual. Maybe for Mr. Budd Embry, he's seen it before. I'm just a little concerned about, I don't want to see the district trying to be a landlord, so to speak. And then the other piece I had is about the actual funds coming in. You read, President Cruz read the funds to enhance student support and success tonight, is how you read it. That's great. The 7 of you and all of us in the room understand where you want to use the money now in 2018. But in the future, will we still be using that rental money, that lease money, for these purposes? My suggestion is, let's codify that. Perhaps it could be a policy, maybe it could be a board policy, so that we make sure that those funds are used as you wish them to be used now, from future boards, from future employees, vice chancellors and so on in the future. I say this because as the co-chair of the resource allocation model, and I share this with Vice Chancellor Smith, he's the other co-chair, we're working on how resources are allocated to the district. And we don't want to have unearmarked money going into certain areas. It might just go to the general fund. And to support that, I want to mention the resolution that the Senate, Academic Senate from ABC said back on the 3rd of May of 2016. Our second resolve was resolved that the student opportunity and access revenue funds shall not be used to replace any regular allocation in the budgetary process. This is cream on the top. This is the extra frosting. This is the stuff we can use for student success and so on. Let's make sure it's that way in the future. That's what I'm worried about, is how it will be applied by future boards. So that's my message. Thank you.
Thank you, Academic Senate President Martinson. Next speaker, Paul Pham, President of AFT 6157.
Thank you. My name is Paul Pham. I'm president of the AFT 6157. The executive board is not in session at this point, so I'm speaking as the president of the group. Based on what I've read about the project, I support it at this juncture. The union is much more in favor of this now that it's been reduced and cut down from 27 acres to 13 acres. In fact, we voted to support it. We support this project as long as it contributes to the success of our students. We ask that the contractor information be brought back to the campus community and the community at large when you get to the building portion of it. And at faculty, we do all we can in the classroom to ensure our students succeed, but it's only part of the equation. It's vitally important that our colleges have a stable funding source to help pay for the kind of student success programs that this development will support. The leasing of surplus land at EBC will help generations of San Jose residents attend and graduate from college. Thank you.
Thank you, President Pham. The last speaker card I have here is actually Gary Cooper. Gary, where are you? Are you speaking on this particular item, H1?
I'm just going to make a comment.
Okay, so come forward.
All I would say is, tomorrow will be 41 years that I've been with this district, and I have seen a lot. And what I look at is the future. If you're going to do something, I would do it very wise. Think about your neighbors, because this is their front yard, their backyard, the college is the park. I would look down the road at the investment like I did with the East Valley Pentecostal. I spent 17 years there, and it's something that the community enjoys and a lot of young people in. And my attitude is, yes, it's a big decision. Be wise, be cautious, do your homework, really communicate with the public, because a lot of neighbors ask me a lot of questions. You can't give a question if you don't know. So all I'm saying, I hope you make the right decision to satisfy every T, every dot. And please, whatever you do, listen to your neighbors, so they have a say-so. If you do it right, it will not come back and bite you, and everybody can look back and say, well done. Good education, you need to add on, you will have that luxury to add on. You need more money, you will have that luxury because the people see you doing a good deed. If you mess it up, they're gonna come back and bite you. That's all I can say. In 41 years, I have seen a lot on both campus and construction. All I can say, I hope you make the right decision. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. So with that, those are the cards that I had related to this item. And so I am going to ask trustees for comments or questions, or questions and comments. Trustee Ho? Vice President, please.
I just want to say thank you to everybody that came out and made comments tonight, and to those that have continued on this journey over the past 6 years. I thank everybody for their patience, and we've done a good job, I believe, of dotting the T's and crossing the I's that you mentioned, Gary, and we'll continue to do that and look at this carefully and make sure that these dollars do go to students and for student programs and student success. And that's all I can say. It's been a long journey, and I'm just very proud of everybody, and I think we're in a very good place to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Lees, or Vice President Lees. To get used to it. Okay, Trustee Ho.
Thank you, President Cruz, and I definitely echo Vice President Lees' comments. It has been quite a journey. It's one that has been painful at times, and I think we as a board and we as a community have a number of lessons learned that we can take moving forward as should we approve the ENA tonight and continue this process with the city to develop our surplus land. Many of the things that we talk about here as a board is how to best support our students and what is it that they need to really succeed. Often we hear about all these wonderful small-scale student success programs, and we would love to be able to take these programs to scale and help more students, and by approving that ENA tonight, we can be one step closer to generating some extra revenue that will really help those students and increase those student success numbers Mr. Budd mentioned tonight in terms of our use of transfer rates, our dual enrollment programs, and some of the specialized programs that we also have that are really contributing to the economic vitality of this community. And I know that the Republic Urban Properties has a number of years doing public-private partnerships. They have been patient with us. We will continue to be patient with them should we approve this agreement tonight. And I just know that it can be a wonderful partnership that will bring blessings to our community for generations to come.
Trustee Nissan.
Thank you, Madam President. I appreciate the fact of the comments that was made in the public, and I think throughout this process, I think we have learned some lessons as well. And I think Mr. Embry had also mentioned about our community engagement. I think we've sure changed our community before, but we rectified that. But it never changed our commitment to serve our students. This project is basically very defined on our commitment to our students, and we continue to do that. So the community engagements will continue, and input from the community will be continued to receive by both the developer and by the board. So I think the end result is basically what we're up to is to benefit our students, not only for today, but the future students of this district. And I know there are even careers that are not even defined yet. We live in an area that continually to evolve. We have careers that is not in the pipeline that we may be serving down in the future. And thanks to our voters who supported Measure X, I think this is a forward-looking board that really doesn't only look forward for today, but we look forward for the future of this community and our students. So I'm very supportive of this agreement with our developer, and we move on with our journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Nassau. Trustee Mann?
I'm going to be real brief. I've lived in San Jose for, almost 40 years since coming down here to go to San Jose State. And of that 40 years, I've lived in Evergreen, and of all the 7 trustees here, I live closest to the site in question. As a matter of fact, it's a healthy walk, but I could walk there, and I wouldn't never go for anything that wasn't good for students and the community I live in. So, very supportive of this, very hopeful. I trust who we're working with, and he too is a neighbor, and neither of us would put anything in our community that wasn't good for our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Mann. Other trustees? Trustee Pham?
There are professors who have started teaching at City College since the 60s, and they still with us. And they have spoken up, warning us about so-called studies and forecasts about surplus land, quote-unquote surplus land. That was done in the 60s and 70s regarding some parcel of lands near City College. And so those pieces of land were sold away because there were some studies, quote-unquote studies, categorizing them to be surplus. But later on, City College found out that they don't have any more land to expand. So I think we should be careful listening to these paid advisors doing studies. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Pham. Other trustees? Yeah. So I wanted to just take a moment to again thank Chancellor Budd, Vice Chancellor Smith, Eller, and everyone who's actually been involved with this particular effort. I appreciate the comments that were made, and certainly the information that was brought forward for us to think about this particular item. I also echo the words of my fellow trustees. This is an important opportunity for us, and one that we have been studying for quite some time. And so when I mentioned earlier in my opening comment, thoughtful in our deliberations, I believe that we have been very thoughtful in our deliberations, and I do, as trustees mentioned, particularly Trustee Nassau mentioned, lessons have been learned. And we understand that we are a college within a community, and that we must involve all communities, internally and externally. And we could do better with our external community and communication, and we are committed to doing that. And I think that Chancellor Budd and her team, and some of us have been diligent in making sure that that is the case, and appreciate Michael and Embry and his team for actually being able to help us do so. And so the one last thought that I want to leave you with, fellow trustees, is, and for the public too, is that one thing that we have to remember, that the development of this particular land will generate not only revenue for the college, for our students, but it will generate, will create jobs, drive economic growth and development in the Evergreen region, hopefully with those amenities that are going to be very important for the Evergreen community. So thank you. Chancellor Budd, are there any final words that you would like to share with us?
Just in thanking the team that's been working on this, Vice Chancellor Smith for all of his work and dedication, Jim Eller, as well as Michael Van Avery with Republic Urban Properties. We really are confident this will help serve our students for years to come with student success and support programs like the Promise, and really ensure we're serving the district and the community. So thank you very much.
So with that, I believe we have a motion and a second. Is that correct? Just checking. And so I'm going to ask trustees to cast your vote. Thank you, everyone. And so the yeses take the vote. So congratulations. So with that, then we move to H2. Just give me a moment here.